I mean, that's the same with builders wanting to become project managers as well. Like, they're a great builder, but they actually suck at project managing because they're good at on the tools and good at, doing what they do. But then project management is almost like a daycare centre, you've got to run all these guys and different personalities and subs and, you're putting out fires and creating stuff. But it's a lot of builders aren't good at that. They're good at building, but not good at people. Like, they all think project management is this drive around sipping lattes kind of job, but it's actually not,
What is success to you?
I think it was a learn to love it experience.
And there's always pitfalls that you can fall in, but then you've got no one else to blame but yourself.
Number one thing if you're struggling is to catch other people about it.
This episode is brought to you by Forte, specialist in refined timber surfaces for inside and out. From elegant flooring and paneling to durable cladding and decking, Forte delivers unparalleled performance where it matters most. Their products are crafted to elevate every space, combining natural beauty with technical precision and enduring design with innovation. Discover more at forte.co.nz. Jono, thanks for coming on the podcast.
No problem.
We're just talking off air a little bit about the industry and why I started the podcast and just about builders being quite isolated, right? A lot of the times in terms of how they run their businesses is sort of like just try to figure it out in a silo.
Yeah.
Did you find that when you started or?
Yeah, there isn't like a huge amount of data out there, like for like basically starting your own business, I don't think. Well, not that I was aware of. It's sort of like you're on your own and you sort of obviously know from where you've come from, like previous jobs and stuff, what it's sort of about and how it works. But it is pretty sort of just do what you think's right. If it's making the margins, doing, and then go from there is all you can really go from.
Yeah. So no, it's been pretty cool, like starting the pod and then getting builders reaching out to each other, one another, and then I've heard of guys catching up. I've heard of people sharing ideas, sharing knowledge, sharing. We've got like a bit of a WhatsApp group where it's a bunch of builders in there.
Oh, yeah.
I should probably make that public actually, just to kind of get more builders in there. So I think it's just like a good thing. The more people kind of share, the more people, because I mean you can't build like 1,000 homes a year, right? You can only build like whatever 5, 10, whatever. So it's I think there's enough to go around even in this market where it's tough.
Yeah, definitely. And I mean, it is like that. Like you share around. Like I've got a couple of builder mates that I talk to like quite often. Like just checking what they're doing, how they're doing, if like what their charge out rate is, what they're paying guys. Just keeping on top of that kind of thing because there's no real database on where you pay a Chippy X amount and he's paying Chippy X amount, but it's like you don't know where you're sitting. And some guys, some guys come in saying wanting that much and. That's huge money, and like you just don't know where it's sitting, so it's sort of quite hard.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I want to talk a little bit about your business as well, but it's always kind of good to know who the builder is behind the business. It's JD Construction. That's you, Jono. And so, talk to me a little bit about where you grew up. Which hospital were you born in?
In Tikawiti, actually, in King Country.
Oh, yeah.
And then we moved from a big sheep and beef farm to Puki I was about 4 or 5, I think. And then jumped on kiwifruit orchard there for a few years. And then mum and dad brought a big dairy farm. So we moved to that and then pretty much dairy farming until I sort of left school. It was sort of like I was, I don't know, beginning of sixth form, I think. And it was just like mucking around at school, going to eat my lunch basically. And so I was just like, I need to leave and do something. And Dad basically said, you need to do a course or get a job before you leave. So I jumped on like 3 days before the Polytech apprentice scheme sort of started that year and jumped in and did my apprentice, and a couple of my mates in the older years are actually doing it. So it worked out quite well. And then, so I did the year in the Polytech, and then part-time on site 2 days a week. And mum and dad were actually building a house at the time. So the builder that was doing that grabbed me and I started with him and he was great. Yeah.
That's awesome. So you your dad was a dairy farmer by trade, like he was kind of like a dairy farmer by trade.
He's sheep and beef probably more naturally,
Right.
but it was sort of sheep and beef is quite a hard game, I think. Or it's
And then you went into kiwi fruit for a bit.
yeah, kiwi fruit for about 10 years, I think, and then
Wow, and then just went back to dairy farming. So
Then
your
dairy
dad's he's not scared to change it up.
nah, not at all. He just jumps on anything and away he goes. Finds the best way to do it or better ways to do it, and away he goes. Yeah.
And did you have any siblings?
Yep, I've got a brother. Well, I'm the youngest. Got an older brother and 2 older sisters. Yeah.
Oh, cool. Family of 4.
Yep.
Cool. I got 4 kids. What's it like growing up in a big family like that?
Yeah, I think it's good, eh? Like, definitely good. There's always something going on. It's pretty busy, and especially being on the farm and that, there's so much to do and keep busy, which is great. Mm.
So growing up on a farm, I actually grew up on a farm. Grew up on a farm for about probably 10 years of my life when I was younger, obviously. What was it like growing up on like farm life? And, were you always like had to help mum and dad?
Yeah. It was, we'd get home from school basically and straight into it until like 5 or 6 o'clock. Then, like, and especially on the orchard, it was like pruning or picking kiwi fruit or something. Like, it was just, always something to do, always busy, always helping dad, even on the weekends, school holidays. Yeah. And most of the cousins had farms as well. So if we go to their place, it would be the same, just jumping and helping them. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's a good vibe, eh? Like
Yeah,
on
it
a
was
farm.
good. Yeah. It's pretty loose. Like,
Driving the ute around.
yeah, like I was driving like a van with a cut-off roof when I was like 6 and 7, so I couldn't even really reach the pedals, so it was great. But you wouldn't do that now. Like I'd struggle to let my kids do that,
Yeah, it's funny. I'm kind of thinking of this now. Like I used to be like 10 and then just like grab my dad's ute and just like start driving around the farm and like pulling, getting my mates and we'd be doing like doughies and stuff like that, like without my dad knowing, obviously. You're like 10.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Driving a manual around. So yeah, the world's kind of changed a lot in terms of that. So it's kind of a cool upbringing. Okay, so you were like your parents kind of like chopped and changed a bit. What did your mum do? Was she just always helping your dad out with what he was doing?
Most of the time. She did work at a receptionist job at a doctor's in Te Puke for a while. But yeah, mainly just helping around the farm, helping dad,
raising you guys.
Yeah, which is a handful.
Yeah, 4 kids, man. It is like it is chaos, right?
It's chaos with 2, and like even like I can't imagine 4 really, but
yeah.
My sister's got 5, so who knows?
Wow. Yeah, I wonder once you start getting 5. I think maybe after 5 it's all just the same. I don't know. I remember when we did from like 2 to 3 was actually quite like seamless.
Yeah.
Because like 1 to 2 is actually quite hard. Doubling, and then 2 to 3 is actually quite seamless, but then 3 to 4 kind of breaks everything.
Yeah.
So I wonder after that if it just sort of gets like it's just the same old,
Yeah, I found 2 was definitely a big change. 1 was, it was a big change to start with, but once you got used to it, it was not bad. But then when you get the second, it was like bang, yeah.
So you got how many kids? You got 2?
2, yeah.
And what's their ages?
Esme is a year and Oakley's 4. Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah. You're right in the thick of it at the moment.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah.
they're really actually really good, but so easy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Compared to some of the stories you hear out there.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so then you on the farm, your dad said you have to do a trade before you leave school. There's no part of you that wanted to like get into farming or anything?
Not really. I didn't. Milking cows wasn't for me. Like I just got sick of the repetitiveness. Like
it's the same old every day.
Yeah. We did a lot of relief milking for local farmers around, like after schools and that, or even on holidays and just to get a bit of pocket money and stuff. But even that, like, used to drive me crazy. Like even for a week or so, because it was just the same thing.
It's almost is it like a bit? But I guess like mindless. Like it's almost like painting or something. You just sort of you just get on autopilot after a while, right?
Yeah. But I think, like, obviously, if you got onto owning a farm and, made it something, then you'd obviously try and get better and better and, build on that. But it is definitely not for me, really.
And what have you always thought about a trade or something? Have you always thought about building, or what were you was it just because your parents were building on the farm that you kind of like thought, oh yeah, what was the transition into thinking about building?
Yeah, pretty much. Hey, Dad was quite a handyman. Like he built all sorts of stuff, and so it was always that happening on the farm, building fences, building hay barns, building sheds, building decks and stuff. So it was always happening. So I did enjoy it, and that's in there. And then once I got into it, I actually enjoyed it more. So yeah.
Okay. So what was that first day like? So you're walking on. So I assume you didn't start did you start as an apprentice there, or did you just sort of like? I mean, because you did the Polytech thing, so you obviously just like maybe like pseudo laboring almost like.
Yeah. It was quite good because it was mum and dad's house to start with. So the boss, you didn't have to pay me there, and it was fine for that first 6 months, and he could get to see what I was like, and then vice versa. So, and he was great, and it's sort of old school mentality, and just get on with it, and away you go. And it was really good.
And how big was the team? Was it like a big team or?
No, it was about maybe 6 of us, I think, at that stage. Yeah, so quite small, but we sort of did high end resi, and then we did like cow shed builds sort of during the off season for farmers and that around that area. So it was a bit of variety of work, and it was great.
So they had to be nice to you because you were the clients.
I don't know actually. I don't know. They were pretty good, but definitely wasn't something like a normal apprentice. How you sort of get a bit of grief to start with, but I mean I still got grief, but not to the same extent. Yeah.
So then you moved off. They finished off that project, and you just kind of worked on other projects. And how long did you work for those guys?
Until I left to go to Canada. So it was probably like 7 years, I think, 6-7 years.
Cool.
So I got qualified, and then running sites, I was running sites before I was qualified, kind of thing. And then basically, got qualified and gave them a couple of years, and then went overseas. Yeah.
Why Canada?
I don't know. I just kind of we wanted to kind of be different at the time. And everyone was going to Aussie, everyone was going to the UK, and it was like, oh, well, let's go to Canada and give it a go. But it was pretty hard over there, like, because you don't have the same, like in the UK, you've got the big sort of community of Kiwis and Aussies and South Africans, and same in Aussie, but Canada is not really. So you're sort of out on your own a little bit.
Right, the odd one out.
Yeah, definitely was hard, and the building was. Yeah, I don't know. I didn't really enjoy it that much because it's so cold and wet in Vancouver, and but it was all right for 6 months. Mm.
So you were there for 6 months, and
yep.
Did you like grow up a lot when you went over there?
Yeah, definitely. It's big step, coming from little to Pookie.
Yeah, and then you're over there. You're the odd one out. You're just like probably a lot of times you're alone.
Yeah,
all the stuff goes on in the head when you. Going through that, it's like sucks,
Yeah, it was like, oh, just give me back to Te Whaki, but then I went back there and I was like, oh, yeah, it's not really the right. We were sort of there for like 3 months, I think, and I was like, I'm not really keen to come back to Te Whaki now, so that's when we went to the UK.
So straight from Canada to the UK?
No, we came back for 3 months, did sort of worked, chopped firewood, made some money, and then went to the UK. Yeah. My brother was getting married over there, so it was a good excuse to go over and just stay over there.
Oh, cool.
Mm.
So what was that like? So a lot of guys that actually come on the podcast have done the stint in the UK.
Yeah.
Like a lot of Kiwis and then Aussies as well that I talked to over there. Some guests from there as well have been going to the UK. What's it like going to the UK? Like, do you recommend it for young guys to like shoot over there and for a stint?
Yeah, definitely. I loved it. Like the first 3 months, I pretty much hated it. Like I was like, get me back in New Zealand, like while my hair, this just sucks. But once I got a good job and settled in and made some friends, and a few mates came over from Te Whaki as well, and it was, once I settled in, it was great. And then didn't really want to leave, to be honest, but sort of got to that point. After 6 years, I was like, either settle down here or go home. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was great. The work was good. The work was different, but it was sort of like, once you get used to it, it was sort of like quite cool.
Yeah. What sort of work did you do over there?
It was all high end, like apartment stuff, right at your penthouse apartments or sort of standalone houses, basements, builds. It was interesting.
Was it new builds or like renovation?
Nah, none of them were really new because it's all sort of, you got to keep the existing stuff. So it was all heritage stuff.
Cool. And what was that like? Because you have to like the old and the new. I guess it's like not just it's not just like, you know, putting up a GJs or something like that. It's a bit more complicated.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the time you'd do so much work just holding the front facade up. Like you'd have all the structural steel just bolted everywhere, supporting the whole front of the building, just because you have to keep it because you can't get rid of it, even though it's falling apart. And you could try and rebuild it the same as what was there, but it's interesting and definitely a massive learning curve. Like, and built so much experience from doing that, I reckon.
Yeah. What sort of the biggest learnings you took from there? Because obviously you kind of leave here, you go there, and I assume you kind of come back a different builder. What are some of the big things that you learned over there that you wouldn't get here in New Zealand?
Probably the quality side of it, I reckon. Like the quality in New Zealand, you get like builders, you know, they just smack up a house and whip it up pretty quick, get out of there and leave half the mess there or half finished, not half finished, but, you know, like stuff not 100% done kind of thing. And then over there it was like we would basically be walking out, we'd be unpacking the client's clothes and basically toothbrushes. So it was like 100% when they walked in. And that was probably the biggest thing I learned. And just everything had to be perfect. Yeah.
Is it almost like that level, obviously the detailing, but then also like that level of service, like what they expect?
Yeah. The level of service was huge. Like, I don't know how many nights we were spent just like making sure it was hotel ready basically to when they walked in.
How do they in the UK? How do they treat and see builders versus New Zealand? Is it different or is it the same? Or?
Yeah, they loved us over there. Like we sort of worked for a South African company. He was probably one of the best bosses I've had, and they loved us, the Kiwis. We just jumped in and away we went and jumped on us, which was good. Like it was pretty much mostly Kiwis, the whole company, and then a few sort of Aussies as well, and then the South African boys as well. Yeah.
Yeah. And they throw you in the deep end like quite early?
Yeah. Like I was only building probably, I don't know, 3 or 4 months, and then they put me in site management and then pretty much project management. So yeah.
Wow. So that's cool, eh? I think that's great. So I think any young builder that's sort of thinking what to do, whatever, especially now, like if like it's hard to get work or whatever, just like boost over there.
Definitely. And you only get one shot at it really. Like you're only young once, and as soon as you start having kids and, you know, settling down, then you can't really do it. Or you can, but it's harder. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's like it's probably like another 10 years of being able to go to the UK and have a good time, and then, you know, till we have to, you know, it's all salam alaikum, brother, and all that sort of stuff. Get myself in trouble. Cool, man. Awesome. Okay, so you came back, and did you find that when you came back, you were like, had a complete different way of how you saw yourself? You just kind of went as one person and came back as another in terms of being a builder?
Yeah, for sure. It was totally different. Sort of a lot more confident, a lot more experienced, and just, but I mean, even coming back was a bit scary because it was sort of like the building over there is almost like the Wild West, you know, like you don't have council, you don't have inspectors, you don't really have building code. It's just build it how you think. And
it's like architect, like the architect comes on site a lot, eh? There?
Yeah, engineers and architects. So, I mean, you get direction and get sign off and stuff, but it's not, you don't have any council inspectors coming. So it's sort of like a little bit Wild West, but it was good. Like you get stuff done easier and better, but coming back here, the red tape that we have to jump through here was huge, and that was a big learning curve coming back again. Like seeing all that, how much that had changed in 6 years that I'd been away. Yeah.
So just the bureaucracy here in terms of the construction industry. What do you think is that? Do you think that's like one of the big reasons why we have such a big housing crisis? And
yeah, I don't know. I feel like it's a good thing in some ways, and then a bad thing in some ways too. But it's sort of hard because there is a lot of cowboys here too, and like how do you capture those guys if you don't have that, you know?
Yeah.
And if you know there's half doing it well and half doing it wrong, like who's going to stop that? And then it's only going to be another like early 90s crisis, you know?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a hard one, eh? It's a bit more nuanced than people think.
Yeah.
And so then you came back. You didn't straight away start your own business, right? You first went and worked for another builder?
Yeah, went and worked for another company as a project manager. Jumped in with them and for about 5 years, 6 years, I think. And then,
Yeah.
then
And that was like a premium,
they were
architectural.
construction company, yeah. And they were good. Learned a lot from them, learned a lot of sort of the ins and outs of basically everything, and got to know a few people and got settled in Auckland. And then, yeah.
And what type of projects did you build with them? Was it like, what was like the project value kind of type project?
Sort of between 3 and 5 kind of thing, million.
Yeah. Cool.
So all
like
high end stuff. Yeah.
High end stuff.
Yeah. Oh, we did the odd little light commercial job, but yeah, mainly high end.
Yeah.
Mm.
And what made you like think about going out on your own? You know, like is it just like, I wonder sometimes with builders if when they they're just kind of, oh, that's just like the next path. But like starting a business is not for everyone.
Nah. I mean, it's kind of something I've always wanted, like even as an apprentice. It's sort of from get-go, I was like, one day I'll be doing it by myself and on my own and, cranking. And then it was just the right time, basically, it all sort of fell into place and hit the ground running and, yeah.
And you, okay, so talk me through that. So what was that like, starting your own business? Like, how did you go about it?
I think I just basically handed in my notice and then and then just got a first job. I think it was like a church bathroom for my sister's husband's parents. So that was like, like a $10,000 job, and I was like, yep, that'll do, let's go. So then from there it just built up, then got a few bigger projects, and then high-end architect that I didn't work for at the previous company, but one of the architects that I used to did a lot of work for at the other company, she put me on to him. So, and then he gave me quite a big job to do at his place, and then it sort of just snowballed from there. Like once I got a roll on, it just the way it went. Yeah.
Cool. And then you, obviously you've got a business partner, Fiona.
Yep.
How did she come into the picture, and why did you decide to bring on a partner to, like give half your profits away?
Yeah, I mean, it's like I sort of saw it early, like even when I was working for the other company, that a lot of these guys, like one man band, like even the subs, like you got plumbers and sparkies and stuff, you could see them struggling, like they're just working 24 hours every day. Like they'd be on the tools during the day, they'd be doing accounts at night, pricing jobs, and just, like it was intense, and you could see them burning out and see them struggling. So I was just like, I'm no good at accounts, I'm no good at paying people, doing all that sort of thing, and running the business side of it. I've never done that before, so that's where Fiona came on. I was just like, she was looking for something to do, and I was just like, well, do you want to give me a hand for a while? And she was like, yep, jumped on. And then, so she looks after the business side. Obviously, I still help, like keep it across it as well, but and then I just look after the construction side, and that works really well. So like.
And what was Fiona's background?
She used to be a pharmacist, owned 2 pharmacies. So she's been running businesses for 20 odd years, and yeah.
Right. So she knew how to run a business, how to put spreadsheets together, how to read financial statements and payroll and all that sort of stuff that makes up running a business. She could take care of all of that, most of it, and you could just focus on what you do well.
Yep. And to begin with, I priced a lot of stuff, but then we got a QS on board pretty quickly, and then she's been pricing stuff as well, like right through, which is good, and then slowly growing, and got another QS now as well. So
yeah, it's interesting, that conversation around partnership. A lot of people that you talk to when it comes to a construction business would always, a lot of people would say, don't go into a partnership for a construction business.
Yeah.
I've talked to other people as well. We've had people on the podcast who's got great partnerships. I think in general business, people are always saying, yeah, having a partner is a good idea. But for some reason, they say in the construction industry, I don't know why. I think it's because I think people, especially when you're a small business, you have to make cash available, and then sometimes people dip into their house, you know, to kind of get money out. And then now, whose house are we dipping into this time to kind of get some cash? And I think it gets like complicated and convoluted. Like, what are the pros and cons of having a business partner for a construction company?
I think, like, I don't know, if you're two builders and partners, I think it would, you know, like two of the same cut. It's probably a bit harder because you're both focusing on the same thing. But like, because Fiona's basically got the business background, I've got the building background, we sort of stick to our own lanes and it works really well. And we've never had to sort of dip into any sort of cash reserves or anything like that. It's always been cash flow positive, and it's, it just works really well for some reason.
Yeah. I think that's good, eh? There's like that, I think Einstein or something, you know, these quotes, he probably didn't say it, but, you know, on Instagram, I'd probably see somewhere that he said, you know, don't judge a frog's ability to climb a tree. Yeah. And meaning that we're all really good at certain things and we're not good at other things. Yeah. And I think it's a real benefit to be self-aware in terms of what are you actually good at and what are you actually passionate about. What feels like play to you is kind of a saying as well, that feels like work for someone else, but it feels kind of like play to you. Like it just comes naturally when you do it, time flies. And sometimes it's good, to like sit back and figure out what you're good at. Like what are you particularly good at? What do you enjoy? What tasks in your business get you, you know, more excited to get out of bed than others?
Just the challenges. Like if there's something different, like jump on it. I like anything that's hard, looks too hard. Like definitely love getting involved there and trying to figure out how to do it, the best way to do it, and fastest way to do it. And then also the tight deadlines too. That's really good. Like I just sort of love the stress on how to get a project over the line. Like even this week we've got a project coming to an end now, and like today, and like you would have seen it at the beginning of the week, it just looks nowhere near ready. And like there's cabinet makers installing cabinetry today, and bench tops coming in this afternoon. So it's hectic, but sometimes we just got to do that and push through. And that's kind of one thing I do love.
Yeah, you love kind of like being start of the week. They'll be like, people walk in, they're like, "There's no way you guys going to finish this by the end of the week," but you kind of like that sort of like pressure. Yeah.
And you think positive, and it always kind of works out. Like I haven't really had it not work out yet. So
yeah, it's like being on the block. You know, you got to just kind of the judges are coming in. Yeah. Okay, now that's quite good, eh? So you kind of do that. You can focus on that, and then you have Fiona focusing on the business side. So talk to me about the structure of your business. So we should get some T-shirts made, of like, how big is your team? You know, I think that would be a good one. Like, how big is your team? Because that seems to be the way that people judge success, you know, for a construction business, even though it's silly. How big is your team? How is it set up? Like qualified, unqualified, people in the office? You mentioned you got a QS. Do you want to run me through what that looks like?
Yeah, we've got about 30 at the moment, all up. So office and
big team
and guys on staff on site. Yeah. Got like 5 site managers, a couple of project managers. Like I'm sort of part project management as well. And we've got 6 apprentices at the moment. A couple of them have just got qualified. So we usually run 70% qualified and 30% build apprentices. Yeah. Just to keep the ratio sort of down a little bit on apprentices. We sort of got a bit high on apprentices at one point, but now they're all sort of getting qualified and good young lads as well.
So what's the crew mix that you like to have on site? Like if there's like a site running, like what, in an ideal world, how do you like to run that?
Ideally, like a site manager, a lead chippy, and then another chippy and a apprentice or a couple of apprentices, depending on what's going on there.
Yeah. And then you have your project managers looking over multiple projects at a time.
Yeah, a couple of projects, yeah.
That's pretty good, eh? So how many projects do you have to do a year to be able to keep 30 people busy?
We sort of run between 3 and 4 biggish projects.
What sort of size?
Sort of 3 to 5 million each.
Yeah.
And then a heap of little jobs, like there's little jobs coming out of ears, like every day new ones popping up. So like that's pretty much another big job on its own. Yeah. It's the small jobs, yeah.
And you like doing those small jobs in between because they like fill gaps and it sort of keeps the cash flow going.
Fill gaps and build relationships too. Like one of those little I don't know, hanging a microwave on the wall might lead to a $5 million house, you know? So,
Yeah, it's a good point, It's like we kind of forget about that sometimes.
yeah, a lot of guys will just turn away on that kind of thing, but I sort of just say, yeah, we'll do it and just get it done. And because it could lead, it might not be them, it might be their friends or family or someone, you know, that wants it, house done.
Yeah, and even if it's a little job, all of a sudden there's a sign outside. All of a sudden it's one of your vans parked up.
Yeah.
You know, like it's just more opportunity. Success breeds success, and like if you just have little wins, that can lead to big wins. Like I think that's probably a big one, that we kind of maybe forget about.
Yeah, and especially in times like this, like where it's a bit tight, you know, on jobs, projects, like little ones sort of get you through, and then hopefully the big ones come.
Yeah. Okay. So you're working 3 to 4 big jobs at a time, and then in the office. So you got like your project managers in the office, and then you, and then Fiona. Is she there full time as well?
She does 4 days a week, and then we've got a admin. So Nicola, she's an admin staff. She's amazing. Does it all over the books, like anyone should be. And then 2 QSs, so Lauren and Sam QSing, and they're both great as well.
Man, what's your payroll bill every fortnight?
Around about the $50,000 a week.
Yeah. Okay. A bit more than mine. I was stressing out about mine, but now I'm feeling a bit better actually. Don't have that many people to pay. Okay, so that's good. So then so obviously you have to feed the machine. How do you get these amazing projects? You know, obviously the smaller projects are the smaller projects. They're always going to come through.
Yeah.
People always need like a deck or whatever.
Yeah.
How do you get the big work? Do you have relationships with architects? Do you have clients coming directly to you? What's your secret?
It's mainly architects. So building that relationship with a couple of key architects is how I've got through, and how we get the big jobs basically. So get on board early with them, and you start sort of pricing at an early conceptual stage, and just sort of working with them to sort of stay on budget right from that start point with the architects. So some of our jobs, like, we know about like 3 years in advance kind of thing before we actually get on site. So we're working with them early. Yeah,
that's good, Like, because it's then the projects actually go ahead. It's all designed to budget. You get involved early. The architect obviously values your input.
Yep.
How did you get on the radars of these architects? Like, how did you? Because I mean, there used to be a point, right, where you probably didn't get in there. So how did you kind of like work your magic to kind of get on their radar and then get your first project?
I think it's just, I don't know, like, because when I was at the other construction company, like a lot of the architects I dealt with there, like did great work with them, and then when I left, one of the architects I did a lot of work for, she sort of put me in touch with Paul, which is one of the main architects I deal with now. And we finished off his house. He'd been building it for a few years, and we came in, and it was only me and an apprentice at the time. And so I jumped on the tools and just did most of his hard landscape and driveway and stuff, and a few other things, and just got on there with him. And then from there, it's just been job after job after job, and sort of his word of mouth goes to other architects, and that's how we sort of get other sort of branches of it as well. So
it's a good way to start on like a smaller thing, Like an architect gives you like a smaller reno or like a landscaping job or something like that, and then you can kind of
do that really well, and then once you get that across the line and just keep building it. Yeah.
Why do you think architects love working with you? Why do you think they keep coming back?
I think I don't know. It's just we do good work. We say what we do, and like basically just honest with them, and like budget wise and all that sort of thing, and just get stuff done and sort of look after it, not look after them, but sort of like like if there's not quite a detail that's not there or something, then we'll just sort of figure it out and give them options as well. So make it easier for them as well.
Yeah, not like shit on the architect
in
front of the client.
You're all working together, to get the project across the line. So you want to work together again. So we just all work well together. Yeah.
Yeah, that's good, Like once you get in with an architect, that's really good. And I guess that's sort of like relationship element as well. You're obviously like in alignment with how you guys, it's easy.
Yeah, that's it. I think as long as you get on with that person as a person, then you're going to do great work. And that's sort of what we do. Yeah.
What is, do you have any sort of little things that you did early on that was like a tactic to kind of get on the architect's radar? Did you like call them or email them and say, can we grab a coffee or anything? Or did it all just come through word of mouth?
Yeah, no, I didn't really do anything like that. It was just basically show them what you can do, and if we get a job from them, just do it well, do it right, and there's no sort of more powerful words than showing them how to do it or showing them that it's done right,
100%. A quick shout out to Forte supporting today's episode. They work across flooring, wall surfaces, exteriors, and more. But what sets them apart is how their timber performs over time. Forte is trusted by architects, designers, and builders, not just for their materials, but for the way they support projects from vision to completion. It's about enriching connections and creating something built to last. Learn more at forte.co.nz. So when you scale and you grow and you grow and you grow and you got like 30 staff, how do you, and you got like say 4 projects going at a time, you've obviously started with 1 at a time and now it's 4 at a time. How do you maintain quality? How do you make sure that the job, because I mean, it's very different if you're on site every day and you can look at all the details. Architectural projects are very highly detailed and there's a lot of little problem solving all the time, million problems to solve. How do you make sure that the quality is still high when you can't have your little finger on everything?
Yeah, that is an issue, and I think that is an issue in everyone's sort of projects and stuff. But like we sort of set up a QA sort of little app. It's called Safety Culture, I think. And basically I set up a whole bunch of checklists. It's basic checklists, so it doesn't really capture the quality side of it, but it captures the basic. Is your pipes in the right place? Have you got the power point for your underfloor heating and that kind of thing? So that captures that side of it, but then like you sort of just got to trust your site managers as well. Like you employ good site managers, you employ good project managers that keep on top of that quality and keep checking non-stop. Like it's not just our guys, it's all the subs as well. Like we got to look after basically everyone on site because we've got to treat them like they don't know what they're doing to a certain extent,
Yeah.
Because it all comes back to us at the end of the day.
So the site manager is responsible, making sure, and then you guys have some systems in place through that app and making sure that people tick off certain elements.
And then I'm always sort of around, like
you're sort of floating around.
Yeah. I'll just drop in probably sites if I can twice a week, kind of thing.
Yeah.
And just have a quick walk around and quick check, and if I see something, then it's sorted out straight away.
Right. So you kind of like you're sort of upskilling the site managers by having those like meetings twice a week. You come around.
Yep.
You kind of tell them what to look for, what's coming up, and then they're sort of learning from you.
Yep, that's it. Yep.
Yeah.
And then that's getting obviously passed down to our younger guys as well, which they're all really sharp too. So yeah.
Okay. And so, do they have like toolbox meetings every day? Like, how do they set up their sites?
Toolbox is once a week on a Monday usually and set up, but I mean, they'll sort of do tasks like if you've got a specific job starting on a Wednesday or a Thursday, they'll sort of have a chat about that, and get the best way to do it and how it's going to be done. Yeah.
The hardest thing for builders to do sometimes is to let go.
Yeah.
Right? And so when you want to scale into a bigger operation, like you have to let go. And how easy or hard was that for you to do? And like what, is that, because obviously you can do it because you run a big business, and you never ever run a big business if you can't let go and give responsibilities to others. Like what are some practical ways that you've learned to like pass on and maybe empower other team members to run aspects or run projects?
I've always been the firm believer of, throw them in the deep end, and if he either sinks or swims, and most of them swim, you get the odd one that sinks, but that's sort of the way I'd learnt and the way my boss did it, so I've sort of carried on with that, and I find it works quite well, like most times, and they either sink or swim, basically.
Yeah, and they either just get better and learn, and
yeah. Some of them take to it like, a duck to water, and away they go. But yeah, some of them need a little bit more hand holding. Sure.
Yeah, and what's your attitude towards them, like making mistakes and stuffing up?
I think yeah, if you're not making mistakes, you're not trying hard enough. I don't think because everyone makes mistakes. It's part of the job, part of life, really.
Yeah.
Mm.
And so if you're running all this big team and you're the CEO, managing director, the boss man at the top, how do you approach what sort of leadership style do you have, and like how do you keep good culture, keep the team running, keep them motivated? Some people say you shouldn't keep the team motivated; they should be motivated anyway.
Yeah.
But how do you sort of keep the team running? What's your leadership style to make sure that everyone's happy and working seamlessly?
Pretty casual to a certain extent. Like I'm more of a if there's something that needs doing and there's not enough guys, I'll go and help too. Like I'll jump on the tools still. Is like I don't really like the hierarchy sort of part of a business. Like some guys have the top guys and they don't touch the tools. They don't get on a broom or help. Like it's sort of like we're sort of like quite flat where we just all work together and got the same end goal. We want to get the job done, best quality, and on to the next one kind of thing. And so yeah, basically just pretty flat leadership style, and that we don't really have that hierarchy.
Right. Yes. There's not a lot of egos floating around or anything like that. Vehicles. Do you buy your team vehicles? How does that work?
Nah. So we've got a couple in the fleet, but not really. Like it's more just the project managers and but not. Yeah, I don't really want to get into that because it just gets a bit out of control.
Yeah. Yeah, you don't need the 30 Rangers parked up outside or anything.
They all got Rangers anyway, most of them.
Yeah, so they just buy their own vehicles.
Yeah,
you just pay them, and they can buy whatever car they want.
Yeah,
yeah. I remember we had like Henry Dunham on like a year and a half ago, and he had one of the clips that he talked about like he doesn't give anyone cars. It doesn't work. Man, did that video go wild of people being like, some people being angry, some being like, it's a waste of money, and so it's I think we're in the world now where part of the market or part of the economy where people can't really be asking for too much at the moment.
Yeah. I mean, like I'd love to give everyone vehicles, but it's just not, it's just not possible really. And then like it's kind of like if you gave everyone tools, they don't treat their tools like they treat their own tools kind of thing. So like we have a whole bunch of tools that like big sort of stuff that all get shared around the company and that. But I mean, it's always never gets looked after as good as what if it was your own drop saw or your own bench saw, So
100%.
That's kind of my sort of take on it, really.
Yeah. No, that makes sense. Overheads, like how do you know exactly what your overheads are? Like how do you kind of keep your overheads under control? Is there sort of some things that mistakes that you've made in the past that you learned from?
Yeah, I mean, we've got pretty low overheads. I mean, that's kind of like how we've sort of stayed afloat, I think. Just keep the overheads down and keep it really pretty quite tight. And
yeah, so you've got like a premises, right? You got like a office warehouse.
Yep, it's not a massive place, and it's not. I mean, it's not bad, but it's not crazy over the top, and it just does what we needed it to do and keep it pretty tight.
Yeah. And have you bought a lot of your big like equipment, plant machinery? Do you have like your own diggers and stuff like that, or no?
Yeah, we just recently bought a digger, and we don't really buy a huge amount, like just the stuff that we need. If we've got a big job coming up, rather than hiring it, it's some of the higher prices are ridiculous. Like if you're hiring a jackhammer for like a big jackhammer for more than a couple of weeks, you may as well just buy one. So
yeah.
But again, like the hire service is pretty good because you can send it back, it gets serviced, it gets maintained, and then you get it again, on the next job. But with it's your own, it sort of just gets hammered and then it's broken,
Do you if you're working on like, $4 million jobs and stuff, you guys use cranes a lot?
Yeah, we don't have our own, or we don't, have our own sort of crane stuff, but we just bring in cranes, hire cranes for the on-call cranes, our main guys here.
Yeah, I've heard, I talked to Ross Bannon about, because he's like the crane man.
Yeah.
But I've heard a lot of good things about the efficiencies around having a crane on site. And
yeah, I was thinking, like, one of our jobs we just finished in Remuera, we probably could have warranted a crane there, I think, but it's one of those things where you get to the end of the project and you're like, oh, yep, we probably could have done a crane.
Crane would have been nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, especially like all the like the labor costs and like
Yeah,
guys
yeah.
running around with stuff and
Yeah,
you know, once you add it all up, a lot of
Yeah.
times a crane's worth it if it's a big enough job. And
yeah, definitely. Because it was sort of two houses side by side and steep hill, and but there wasn't much room for one. But I think I did look at it, but I sort of just it was pretty hard.
yeah. Okay, well, I know you're more responsible for the construction end, and then we've got Fiona that's responsible for the business, but I assume you guys talk sometimes from time to time. What are sort of the numbers that you guys look at to make sure that the business is on track, and that that everything's running well, and you know, because obviously people look at different perimeters, different levers in terms of whether the business is tracking or not.
I mean, like, it's almost per job is sort of, you know, like if we're making money each job, well, then you're going to be making money throughout the back end of the business. But, and then obviously if some jobs are getting a bit tight, then, you know, maybe we need to look a bit deeper. But we obviously have our sort of 3-month check-ins and even more often, but we're just on the P&L and just keeping an eye on that. And that's sort of the main part of it. But we do have we're actually looking at changing our financial sort of program that we're using at the moment. We're using Sage, was Corcon, which is not bad, but it sort of doesn't give us the reporting that we need, and like it's not that sort of instant. Like we want something that you can go in now and it's up to date for yesterday kind of thing.
Yeah.
And
what are you thinking of changing to?
To Lentune.
Okay.
So it's live, so we'll put all our timesheets will be through that as well. So guys are clocking in, clocking out. 5 o'clock tonight, that'll be all live, and the costs are live to that date.
And then you can track if it, in real time where you're at with a job, if you're going over or under or.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it's pretty live, and I mean it's only as good as how much you put into it. So I mean, we've got a bit of training to do to get up to speed, but I think it's looking really good. So.
And do you guys use Xero as well?
Yep.
And everything's like coded in Xero.
Yep.
Okay. And what else do you guys use for project management or any other softwares or anything you guys use?
We use Safety Culture. That's like for our Q&A one. I mean, it'd be nice to have one big app that did everything, but it's just not possible. Some of them do things well. Some of them, like will do one thing really well or two things really well, but they won't do the other thing quite right, So you got to spread it a little bit. Our timesheet app isn't that great. It's Timesheet Mobile. I mean, it's not bad, but it could be better. So that's why we're thinking of just putting it all into Lentune, and then that'll keep the whole financial side of it in one spot. And then we use Build Exact for pricing. That's really easy. Like even I can price most things, which is good.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So in terms of the business itself, could you go on holiday for like 3 weeks and things just run, or have you removed yourself from the business enough?
Yeah, like definitely can. But I mean, obviously you still get a few emails, a few texts, a few calls and stuff. But yeah, I think I went to Europe. When was it last year before? For like 6-8 weeks. So.
Wow. Okay. What advice do you have for other builders? Like you obviously see a lot of builders where the business revolves around them a lot. They're the center of the universe of that business.
Yeah.
What sort of practical advice can you give to other builders that are like in that, and they're just like, mate, I'm like chained to this business? What are some of the first steps that they can take to kind of remove themselves from it?
I think get a good team, like good management team is probably the biggest thing, and then a good office team. Like you need someone coding your invoices, you need someone, putting it in the right places. Otherwise, there's no way you could leave. Like even if I was doing all that, there's no way I could leave for a couple of weeks even, because you just get so swamped behind because, it's just so much, especially our size. Like,
yeah. So what would be your first, if you're a guy that's sort of it's one guy, he's got like 3 guys working for him, 4 guys working for him, and they're running jobs, and he wants to like start. What's the first hire, or what's the first step you reckon he should take?
I would say an admin person. Like, just get someone that can do your accounts, get someone that can code your invoices, put your invoices together, pay people, pay your staff. Like that's just, I mean, as a builder, you're not naturally good at that. So that's why you become a builder, is because you don't want to do paperwork, So like, get someone that's good at it and enjoys it, and then it just takes that big stress off you and load, and then you can focus on construction. And then from that point, make sure you got a good site manager that can run that site, or and then slowly grow like that.
Yeah, it's funny how when people are, when you get someone that's good at what they do. So like if you have an admin person, sometimes it takes them like 10% of the time of what it took you to do the same task, and they love it, and they just do it quick, and it's done, and you're like, fuck, it would have taken me all week, you know?
Exactly. And that's the same with builders wanting to become project managers as well. Like I find, like they're a great builder, but they actually suck at project managing, because they're good at on the tools and good at doing what they do. But then project management is almost like a daycare center. You've got to run all these guys and different personalities and subs, and you're putting out fires and creating stuff. But it's a lot of builders aren't good at that. They're good at building, but not good at the people.
Yeah, because it's like herding cats. It's like people management. It's a very different skill set.
Mm-hmm.
And that's why I always like with builders that do it well. I'm like, I'm always very impressed when builders can manage, because managing subbies, then they're responsible for the subbies, and the subbies stuff up, and they have to like deal with it, and that all quality control and all that. It is a difficult thing to kind of manage.
Yeah, it's huge, and it's more. Yeah, it is massive. Like, and I think if you're a good builder, just stay a builder and become a amazing builder, rather than try and like they all think project management is this drive around sipping lattes kind of job, but it's actually not. It's stressful. It's probably one of the most stressful jobs you can do, I reckon. Yeah.
What are some of the builders that you've seen around that? What do you think's the difference? Because that was the reason we started this podcast. So I want to know, what's the difference between the builders that end up building companies and profitable and do well and have still have a life, and versus builders that you sort of check in 3-4 years later and they're still sort of where they were before, and they're sort of just like tagging along. What's the difference between those two people?
I don't know. Just being honest, I think, is probably one of the biggest things, eh? Like, just honesty about the budget, honesty about what you're invoicing, like just the whole thing is probably one of the biggest things. And then like just trying to keep your name right, and by being honest, that sort of makes like the next person, oh yeah, he was up front and did the job when he's on time, on budget, or if the budget was over, he exposed it to us and showed us all the invoices, showed us everything, what was happening, and cleared it up like that. So
yeah, I think that's good. I think that's a good answer. In terms of construction, things don't always go to plan. Shit goes wrong. Has there been a scenario over the years where you guys have lost a bunch of money on a project, or shit went wrong? Or
yeah. I mean, we've had a few little ones, eh? I mean, I find most of the big projects are fine. It's the little ones that get you, that you don't have a contract in place. Like 20 grand, 5 grand, little sort of project that you're just doing to help them out or do something. They're the ones that sort of bite you, because like they know that you're not going to chase them for 5 grand because it's going to cost you more than that. So that's kind of the ones that you get caught out on, I think. Which is kind of annoying, but
yeah, all your invoices set up as like payment claims. Yeah, so that works well. Like avoids people not trying to get excited and maybe thinking about not paying you.
Oh, they still do though. Like there's still guys that just like. I spoke to a builder the other day. He said he could do it for half the price, and that's all I'm prepared to pay you. And it's like, some of it's a bit stupid, but happens.
Yeah. Do you have you had like a mentor over the years, like someone there? Because you seem like you got your head screwed on right. Like you have structures in place. You've got people in place. I mean, you're running a big operation, 30 builders. 3-4 projects, large. People can run the numbers themselves in terms of where you sit with revenue. Have you had mentors, business coaches, or other people in business that you've leaned on over the years that sort of helped you navigate this complicated thing?
Yeah, and to a certain extent. I mean, it obviously changes like throughout your life. I think like obviously your dad's probably your main mentor when you're growing up, and then once you sort of get out on, he sort of teaches you your basics, and then once you get out, then you look to different guys. Like in my first boss, he was probably one of the first ones that I looked up to, and he did everything how I wanted to do everything to a certain extent. And then the next boss, like the one in London, he was amazing. He was like had his head screwed on and just full noise, and I learned a lot from him in terms of business and how things should run and whatnot, because he had a pretty sizable crew over there at the time. I think while I was there, we grew from like 3 to probably like 30 or 40, and then now I think he's at like 60 or 70.
Wow.
But
So
yeah.
you've always been like kind of like a sponge. You like ask a lot of questions and.
I wouldn't say ask. Like I'm not really a talker. Like I'm more of a watcher and a observe everything. Like just always taking it in that way, and listening and just looking at stuff. Yeah, that's probably the biggest way I learn. Yeah,
So just like working for the right boss, like picking the right
yeah,
bosses.
I think that definitely set me up, is work for the right guy and just doing well with him.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And I think that's probably a good reminder for younger guys. If you do have like a good boss, you get qualified, don't just like go, I'll give him 12 months and I'm out of here. Like kind of stay a bit longer, like find out the intricacies, the business element, how you price, how you do the
ask questions.
Yeah,
ask questions. And if you want to learn that stuff, definitely get in their ear and just ask.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because I know of a lot of builders who, young guys get, just show that they can. Then before you know it, they kind of show them like how they price, and maybe that help them a little bit with the pricing sometimes. Or maybe that, there's definitely, if you show some eagerness, I think.
Show you're keen. Like, I mean, definitely, like, even just as you work, show you're keen, like, show them how keen you are to be there and do stuff, and don't drag your feet. Don't turn up like you've already been there for 6 hours, like. Show that you're on time. Be like on time is kind of late, like you need to be there half an hour, quarter of an hour before, and be ready at 7:30, not rocking at 7:29.
Yeah.
So that goes a long way. Like if you like some jobs where we were just doing one around the corner, and I was turning up because I was sort of running it because my site manager was off and it was during COVID and stuff. So I was kind of running it, and I'd turn up at like 5:30 on site, and one of the apprentices was there every morning before me, and I'm like, far out. Like that goes a massive way, I reckon.
Yeah, you notice those things. Have you ever wanted to, like, give up? Have you ever been burnt out over the years?
I think it goes through waves. Like, definitely if you've got too much on, or you've got someone that's off, or someone that's, that's left, and you just all of a sudden got this massive overload, I think, there's definitely been periods where I'm like, far out, this is massive, and how can I carry on? But you always get through.
And how do you get your head in the game? So when your mind starts going and you're just like, I don't want to do this anymore. What do you do to kind of get your head back? Like, is there any practical things? Do you sort of shut off for a day and come back, or like what do you do to kind of like get you back on track?
I don't know. Probably fishing is probably my out, I think. Just go for a fish for the day. That just definitely clears your head big time. Turn your phone off. Like my phone goes crazy sometimes, and it's like 150 calls a day, and it's just like, how can you even cope with it? So, but the best my out is like go fishing for the day, or take the kids somewhere and do something with them, and just chill. Turn the phone off.
Yeah, it's an element of you can get into your head too much, and you just sort of like going over and over and over.
Yeah. The worst thing is at night, like if you start thinking about stuff at 11, 12 o'clock at night, and then you're pretty much screwed for the whole night. But again, just try and turn off, and it's never as bad as what you think that night. It's always better in the morning once you get back to site and have a look and see what's going on,
Have you ever, I mean, a lot of people do, have you ever had periods where you struggle with maybe like they call it like mental health or whatever, but like your head just not being kind of like constructive in your thinking? And
I mean, I sort of have periods of it. It's not really like I don't really get too deep in it, but it's sort of more like I'm quite good at just sort of keeping a level head and not really overthinking stuff, or like I'm pretty chill like that, and don't really get too upset about stuff. It's always a solution. There's always something, a way around it to fix it. It's never really a problem.
So everything goes wrong, shit hits the fan, guy quits, boss one of your clients call you guys fucked up and you guys are shit to work with, and because they're having a bad day and all this stuff, right? And then someone's going, I'm only going to pay you half because I saw a quote from another guy that was only half. And then what's the next, what do you say to yourself?
I usually just sometimes I'm like, want to basically go in there and scream at them or something, but I'm not like that. I'm more of I'll just actually remove myself for a few hours or a day or a couple of days until I figure it out, and then I'll come back and deal with it.
And what do you do during that time?
Just keep myself busy, go do something else, go do another job, go, I don't know, go hang out with the kids or something like that. But it's never as bad as what you think. Like, I mean, I'm sure it can be at some point, but you can always figure it out, and there's always a solution. That's how I look at it. There's never really a problem until you can't fix it, but most things you can fix. So
yeah, you got 2 kids. Doesn't really matter if you have 1 kid or 2 kids or 5 kids or 7 kids. It's like it feels like you have 10 kids. Even if you have 1 kid, your capacity kind of grows with it. How do you navigate family life and running a company with 30 staff? Has there been any sort of practical things, boundaries or whatever that you've put in place to make sure that you're not neglecting one too much?
Yeah, I think it's probably, I was quite bad at sort of working at night, like in the early days. So I'd be just on my phone all night and just sort of not really paying much attention to what was going around me at night at home. But sort of in the last couple of years, I've tried to basically, switch off from sort of once I got home to once I leave again in the morning, just so I know that I'm putting 100% focus onto the kids and my partner. So, yeah.
Yeah. How's becoming a dad changed you?
It's definitely, it's not just about me and the wife anymore. It's more about, you've got 2 little ones that are looking up to you as well. And that's definitely huge, it's not, when it's just the 2 of you, it's easier to, you could do anything basically, but when you've got 2 little ones relying on you as well, it's definitely a huge step. Then you want to make sure you're doing everything 100% to make sure they have a good upbringing.
And how do you stay present with them during the week? You're just all the stuff going on, and then a little 4-year-old runs up. How do you kind of stay present there with the kids?
I'll try and try and get all my work done before I go home, and then if there is stuff that needs to be sorted out that day or that night, I'll sort of hang out with them and do what they need to do what, get the bed, get them dinnered and bathed and everything like that. And then once they're in bed, then I'll jump back on my phone and sort stuff out then.
Yeah.
Just so that, they don't see you. Because if they see you on your phone all the time, it just, must do their head in, I think.
Yeah. Do you, when shit goes wrong, or you need to kind of talk through some solutions, or sometimes they say a problem shared is a problem halved,
Yeah.
So sometimes it's good when you talk to people and we're just going to talk through something. Who do you talk to? Do you talk to your wife about business stuff, or is there other guys that you talk to? Who do you kind of chat through things to kind of half the problem?
I don't really share too much with the wife in terms of business, because I don't want to drag her into it. I want to basically keep our family life separate from our business, because that's why, she'd be great to be in a business partner with, but I just didn't want that from the get-go, I'd rather go home and talk about other things than talk about the business all night, and, have that sort of over your head as well. Relationships are stressful enough as they are, let alone bringing in business side of it too, so that's why I sort of didn't go that way. What were we talking about?
Yeah, just who do you talk to about?
Oh,
so you don't like to talk to your wife. I think that's good.
Yeah.
Because you want to keep your house like a like a safety zone,
Positive,
like a spot where you can get away from the struggles of life and go and just like go breathe and recover.
Because otherwise it basically, it becomes another part of the business, and you don't want that, like with the family and that. So, I mean, the person I probably talk to the most is one of my Sparkies. He owns a Sparky, or part of a Sparky company as well, and I have a good yarns with him if there's issues or problems, and like vice versa. And then if I have building problems, I've got a couple of builder mates that I'd give a yarn to as well, which is good little outs. Yeah.
Yeah, do you find that when you talk to them afterwards, you always kind of like feel a bit lighter when you just kind of like...
Yeah, sometimes you just need a vent and sort of get your frustrations out, and he's the same. He'll ring me, have a vent, and I'm like, okay, we're good.
Have a vent, just like triple your daily dose of swear words for like just a half an hour, and then you feel good again.
Yeah, and then you can carry on. I mean, even some clients, like I've got a couple of clients that I've got a good relationships with that, that we'll have a good vent to every now and then, and they're great. Mm.
Yeah. So where you are at now, how old are you? 39?
Yeah.
And that will change in the future, but where you're sitting right now, business, family, health, wealth, money, success. What does success mean to you?
I think it's like getting home each evening and seeing the two kids like basically just running up and jumping on me, like that's probably the biggest thing, seeing that they're so happy to see dad come home is probably the biggest success, I reckon.
Yeah.
You go through periods where, you want to get a big construction company, get guys and whatnot, but I mean, like, it obviously helps because I can go home and can have a good spot to call home and stuff and keep them happy. So it obviously does help. Like, I think in New Zealand, we're just so lucky the environment we live in. Like, the rest of the world's pretty tough, I reckon.
Yeah. No, I agree with you. Having those kids run up, and people don't know until they have kids, right? But yeah, when you like walk in their front door and like start hearing the little footsteps as they're running towards you, and it's a pretty cool thing, eh?
Yep, definitely.
Awesome, man. Well, Jono, thanks for coming on. We're running out of time because you got to get on to your handover today. So thanks for coming on a handover day. That's pretty big. You obviously got your shit together in your business, and you can come have a little yarn and on a podcast on a handover day.
Yeah, no, it's hectic. That's good.
Yeah, so I'll let you go get on with that. But yeah, no, I appreciate you coming on, man. And I got a lot out of this, so appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks.
That's it for today's episode. And thanks again to Forte for making this week's episode possible. If you're after timber surfaces that don't just look beautiful, but are built to endure, Forte is leading the way with a focus on sustainability and craftsmanship and unparalleled performance. They're helping bring ambitious projects to life across interiors and exteriors.